All right, welcome back to the morning show on this motivational Monday. It is a brand new week, and we're hoping that you're having a good start to your morning so far. We're in the final stretch of our time together, but before we wrap it up, our next guest has nothing short of an inspirational and motivational story, fitting perfectly for a motivational Monday. Joining me right now is comedian, author, restaurant owner. I'm not sure what else we can add to the title of Costa Carastavrakis, who's joining me right here this morning on the morning show. Costa, how are you doing?
Well, and you, Khosi?
Good.
Carastavrakis.
Carastavrakis.
Bingo.
Carastavrakis.
Got it.
Absolutely
Well
got
done.
it. It's so good to have you joining us this morning and to talk about all the work that you're doing, the shows that you're putting on. Are there other things that should be added to the title of your name?
Underwear supermodel.
Underwear supermodel. Supermodel, not just model.
No, supermodel.
Not in this weather, though.
Not in this weather.
Yeah, no. Let's step off of that one very quickly. I want to quickly chat about the concept behind the show, Desperately Seeking Souvlaki. It sounds like a plea for help of some sort, but also sounds like it's a name for something that's going to be absolutely entertaining. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, Madonna, I'm old enough to remember a movie she made in '86 called Desperately Seeking Susan. That was the movie. So Desperately Seeking Souvlaki is a play on those words.
Yeah.
And souvlaki is a Greek traditional dish. It's a kebab, a sasati, a stick with some beef on it. And, you know, desperately seeking everything from my identity, from my Greekness within South Africa, to, you know, other things.
Yeah. It sounds like it's quite the journey. I mean, the experience of settling from your Greek culture into South African culture. What's the weirdest thing that you found the two cultures merging together? It's like, how did this even happen?
It's so funny. I don't, you know, while I was born in South Africa.
Yeah.
And I am South African. And I often find when people say to me, like, what makes you Greek, what makes you South African? Well, I only know one condition, and that is the condition of being me in Joburg.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, being a Greek South African is normal. You know, it's normal having a long surname that everybody gets wrong. It's normal, you know, eating smelly food that people go, oh my gosh, what are you eating? You know, it's normal to be like, sometimes the odd one out, other times, you know, very relatable to most people, because we all come from such a very diverse background, but there's so much that brings us together, so much in common. Our families, our work ethics, the way we approach life, our positivity, our volume. That's one thing.
Okay,
Greeks have. Yeah, we've got a lot of volume.
Yeah.
And a lot of cultures in South Africa. We're a loud people.
We are. We from our music to our conversations. To
Look at us.
We probably speaking so loud.
And hands. We're all about the hands.
I think one of the things that I love specifically about your story is the motivational element of it, your journey, the how can I say, the meat of your journey and life is your journey from moving from meth to marathons. And you've got a book titled I Am Costa, Meth to Marathons. What's the synopsis, like the gist of that story? Because one could think, oh my goodness, that's quite the transition.
Yeah, no, the gist of that story is a life of, you could say, othering. I call it othering. Because being kind of the odd one out and always not feeling like I had a place in the world, being a young guy, knowing I was gay and not knowing what to do with it, led me to hide from who I really was. And the only way to really hide from yourself is to shut the world down around you. And I shut the world down around me with alcohol and drugs. Of course, when you take on the drugs, they always win. So gratefully one day I reached the rock bottom. I put down the drugs and I picked up recovery. And many years later, I can now sit and talk about it and write about it, and that was the basis of the book. So the book is a serious book that I wrote with some funny bits, and the funny bits started coming through. And that's when I realized, you know, after some healing and some time, it was now time to bring some light to the story and light to my life, because, you know, we all mess up in life. I've messed up big time. I've learned a lot, and I want to use those learnings and look at them in a more positive light. And also give some hope to other people that, you know, recovery is possible, and finding humor in most situations once you've done the healing, of course. Not if you haven't done the healing. If you haven't done the healing, then you're just laughing at yourself. And then that's quite embarrassing, and that's just, you know, that's low humor. I get to laugh at myself in a way that forgives me, forgives my past. I forgive everything and everyone, and it just makes for a much more fun comedy show to watch.
Yeah.
Somebody who has has grown and can laugh at himself.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned that you've healed, and then therefore you're able to laugh. You're healing.
It's a process.
Yes, it's an ongoing process
For
that will
sure.
take on forever. And you're then able to laugh at yourself. What would you say is the one thing you've learned, the most pivotal thing you've learned about yourself in the writing of the book? Because writing a book really takes you back there, but now you look at it from a different lens where you're documenting it. What's one thing that you will never forget that you've learned about yourself?
That I didn't do this myself. I didn't heal by myself. I healed with the gift of a spiritual, you could say a spiritual moment, and then a journey, and the gift of my family and friends. This does not happen alone. I'm not going to take credit for it, no.
And do you find that it influences your comedic style, the process of healing and your history, that the content of your comedy is influenced by it?
Yes, like there are moments where I get serious,
Yeah.
but more serious in terms of like grateful, and just kind of like a real moment of, you know, I've been to hell and back. It's super funny, but it wasn't that easy. So yeah, I think it's like there's a realness and an authenticity I like to bring across where, you know, where there is pain, I do kind of pause a little bit because, you know, it needs to land. But that's what I love about comedy, because comedy is so close to tragedy. You know, I was telling somebody the other day, when we watch somebody trip and fall, the first thing we do is laugh.
Yeah.
It's like a human reaction. The comedy is related to the tragedy. So they're so close together. And that's what I love about this new journey of comedy for me, because I'm able to explore within the tragedy some fun moments and some funny moments. But on a more serious note, it's about saying we can look at our lives in a light way, and also to shine the light for some others. Because I'm okay. I'm okay. There are people suffering from drug overdoses every day, trans, lesbian, gay South Africans who don't have the support I've had, who can't see a way out of them being trapped within identity they don't understand. I'm trying to say, hey, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. You can heal, and you can come out. You can have your country and your community support you.
And that's fantastic. I'm so glad that you not only experienced it yourself, but you're going out and you're sharing that story on stages. In actual fact, speaking about stages, I want to go back to one specific stage, your first performance at the New York Gotham Comedy Club. Like, that's a big thing.
I know.
That's a big thing,
I don't
Costa.
know what I was thinking. The first time I did stand-up comedy, I studied under a guy called Steven Rosenfeld at the American Comedy Institute, and the graduation moment was a 5-minute slot at Gotham Comedy Club. So the first time I ever got on stage to do stand-up was to a New York audience, and it took like 7 years of my life in those 5 minutes. But they were a generous crowd. I made some New York people laugh, and that gave me a lot of confidence to say, well, if I can make that happen, I can make Theatre on the Square happen, which is happening now next week. This week, 12th to the 16th of July. So I'm excited to be on stage, because if I nail that, I can.
I'm pretty sure I can pull this off together. I mean, the New York Gotham Comedy Club is definitely known as the point that a lot of people try to achieve, to reach that point, to get to that specific mark and get on that stage. And it's great to know that's where it all started for you. In actual fact, I want to talk about this coming weekend at Theatre on the Square. Tell us about what we can expect for someone who's actually keen to join you for this coming weekend.
So this show is a 70-minute comedy show, one-man stand-up format. It's 100% me. It's the show that I wrote last year, put into rehearsals, and we did a sellout in Cape Town and Joburg once before, and now this is the first run. It is a very much all about me, the condition of being Costa. It's very open. There's not many lies. In fact, most of my life is true that I speak about, and it's a show for anyone. I've in my first 2 shows, I had a very diverse audience, and everybody was telling to me, but hey, that's my family up there. That's my reality up there. So that's coming up Wednesday is the opening night, the 12th to the 16th. Tickets at CompuTicket.
Yeah.
I was told I have to say that.
Yes, you have to, because
Yeah,
then people can know exactly where to get them. Man, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fantastic time for people to just be able to uncover more about Costa, but more especially to be able to learn so much more about you and learn about life through your eyes and your perspective. Before I let you go, for people who might want to get a copy of your book, is it available? Can they order it somewhere?
Yep, the book is available online. Just Google I Am Costa, from meth to marathons, or at Exclusive Books.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, I'm at Costa Comedian, or TikTok Costa Comedian, and all the links are there, you know, link in bio, blah, blah, blah. And of course, I love the sound of my own voice, so you'll hear lots more about it there.
Fantastic. Costa, before I let you go, what's the dream for you? You've started your first performance at the New York Gotham Comedy Club. You're about to do theatre on the square this coming weekend, well, into the weekend. What's the dream for you? What's that one stage you'd love to hit?
Oh, gee whiz. The dream for me is to enjoy making other people laugh. That's the dream. It's not a moment or a stage or a place. I need to be enjoying myself, and I need to watch people laughing. Whether it's at Madison Square Garden in New York, whether it's at Emerentia Dam on a small stage, or whether it's in Maboneng doing open mic night. I want that joy of sharing a story, making myself happy while making other people laugh. That's the dream. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. And then, because, keeping it simple is what's going to keep it real for me.
Costa, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning, but also thank you for sharing your story. I think many people are able to hear you speaking right now and find hope and encouragement, not just laugh, but also feel like, hey, there's hope for me. Because if you could do it, definitely I can be able to make it through it. And I hope they get your book, join you on the 12th of July, and join for a great time of laughter.
Thanks, Costa.
Oh man, what a great time, TMS fan. That's where we park it for this morning. Costa joining us right here on The Morning Show. And you can make sure to catch one of Costa's shows that are going to be happening from the 12th to the 16th of July at Theatre on the Square. And you'll be guaranteed to have a great laugh and also great insight and learning and life lessons as you walk out of there. And hey, maybe you might just be a point of his humor at some point. You know, when you wear that yellow jersey and you stand out at a comedy show, don't do that. Just come to the show. Stay with us.